points. Mr. Tulsian is also with us. Mr. Tulsian, how would you react to this news, and what would your view be on how to approach Reliance now?
See, Sonia, I think there is no clarity in respect to, or maybe, proper, we may need to understand the outstanding gas or maybe the deficit gas properly, what the finance ministry intend for that in that respect. Because probably I see that as a big negative, because I don't think that unless until you have the clarity what will be termed as an outstanding gas, whether it will be with the base of 31st March 2014 or going ahead, number one. Number two, honestly, I don't see any reason for the ceiling being put in. I don't think that ceiling is going to be at $6 or maybe $7, because when the ministry has approved the higher price and wherein it has been worked out at $8.4 per MBTU, I don't think that the ceiling will going to be anywhere less than $9 to $9.5, which is very much reasonable and logical, because obviously the government machinery will be interested that there should not be windfall gain to the contractors in the initial period and then to the government, because ultimately the government also has a social objective. So I don't think that market should really be too much worried in respect to the ceiling being fixed, in my view, which is not going to be less than maybe $9.5 per MBTU. But I think the concerning things is the obligation of Reliance Industries to supply the outstanding gas at the same price of $4.2 per MBTU, which seems to be very harsh in view of the non-clarity in respect to the outstanding gas.
So Mr. Tulsian, the point I wanted to understand is that in that case, would there be enough incentive for Reliance to actually go out and produce in large quantity? That really was the concern, that maybe in 2015 onwards we'll have large-scale production of gas from Reliance. Now with this uncertainty, along with the fact that even if it's capped at say $9.5 going forward, that as a trigger in terms of top line for Reliance, does some of the sheen go away?
See, Anuj, let me first take the total perspective, because market has been talking that probably Reliance is not accelerating the production because of the unremunerative prices being fixed at $4.2 per MBTU, which is expiring on 31st March 2014. And from here on, it is very much, it will be forced on the Reliance Industries to come to the normal production, whether that happens at 40 mm SCMD or whether that happens at 80 mm SCMD. So the Reliance Industries will resume the normal level of operations, for which the BP is also working on, whether that comes from the March 15 or whether that comes even maybe a one and a half year thereafter. So I don't think that anyone can, or any contractor can really suppress the production going forward. Now coming to reply on your second part, I think that maybe suppose even take for instance, which I have been holding my view, that even if a gas price of $7 per MBTU is fixed for the gas from 1st April 2014, in fact I see that as a good incentive, and as I said, that if I presume that the cap is made at about $9 to $9.5 per MBTU, honestly I don't find any reason for the range having fixed anywhere between $7 per MBTU to $9.5 per MBTU, because that will definitely be seen quite remunerative. Because if you see the present profitability, even now the upstream or the gas production company is getting an EBIT of close to about 30%. So yes, there won't be much incremental increase in the cost of production going forward for the gas. So yes, there will be a good jump. One has to really make the calculation of the margin at each level, or at each level of the selling price at $7, $8, $8.5. So honestly, I see it quite remunerative, and I don't think that the gas production can really be intentionally suppressed or curtailed from going beyond maybe March 2015.
Mr. Tulsian, didn't have a chance to ask you about the IndusInd Bank numbers, but the stock is down around 1.6%. How would you approach it, despite the fact that it came in pretty much in line? Was the floating provisions a point of concern?
See, two things from this if you really take a call, Ekta, because firstly I think because of the other income, I'm taking a sequential performance. There is an increase of by about 100 crores on the other income, from 370 crore for March quarter, it has moved to 470 crore, and what you have referred that the floating provision of 50 crore has eaten away that. So the extra 50 crore, and there is a marginal increase in the tax rate also, maybe by about 50 basis point on a sequential basis. So that has resulted into the PAT coming in at 300 335 crore, which in fact looks better than the pole of 315 crore. In fact, if you knock off this this extra income of about maybe 50 crore, even after knocking off the floating provisions, the bank has been able to post the extra 35 crore PAT only because of the higher other income. I'm not saying that one should not attribute or consider that, but that these numbers cannot really get extrapolated for the subsequent quarters. You need to have the expectations of maybe closer to about 300 crore PAT for going forward. So probably that is a concern to the market, and as such we have seen a good run up in the stock price in this last 3 days in anticipation of the good numbers. So probably the profit booking coming in, and largely because of this higher other income.
Mr. Tulsian, you have 2 sell calls as well, so you're moving with the trend. Tell us about that.
That's right, Sonia. And first short call is on financial technology. In fact, we have seen a good run up in this stock in this last couple of days, and I don't honestly see any reason either on the technical basis or on the fundamental basis, and probably the liquidation of that is seen now because of this overall weakness having seen in the market. So go short for remaining part of the day with a target of 750 and stop loss of 765. And the second short I have chosen is on Adani Enterprise. Same story here also, because the stock was ruling close to about 214, 215 last week, and since then it has been continuously sliding every day, and now ruling close to about 200. So look for a level of 196 with a stop loss of 202 for the remaining part of the day.
Mr. Tulsian, Titan has been seeing 2 days of gains now. A couple of days ago, we saw Goldman Sachs upgrade on the stock as well. Would you recommend buying it at these levels?
No, Sonia. In fact, probably in my view, 250 plus at which it is now ruling seems to be a good level to go, at least for the profit booking, if not short. Maybe the shorts can be initiated at level of 256 to 258, because generally, probably this could be the effect of that broking upgrade report, which we have been seeing the maybe short covering and renewed buying coming in. But I don't think that, because situation are likely to remain dull only for June quarter as well as for September quarter in view of the working capital pressure, margin pressure and all that. So keep my negative view on the stock from here on.
Okay, Mr. Tulsian, wanted to actually ask you about Tata Steel and the downgrade that we've seen. We've seen 2 consecutive downgrades from brokerages on Tata Steel. How would you approach the stock, and do you think that it could grind lower to those levels of around 215 odd, which is put out by one of the brokerages?
See, Ekta, actually I have been keeping my negative stance on all the ferrous metal stocks, whether you talk of JSW Steel, Steel Authority, Jindal Steel, Tata Steel. But if you really take a call on Tata Steel, I don't think that situations are in any way improving on the chorus front, and that has been the trend for maybe last 4 to 6 quarters. The standalone numbers are always looking better, and the consolidated numbers are worse or maybe much poorer than the standalone number. So that indicates that the pressure is continuing from the chorus steel, and you don't have any hopes. I'm not referring the last quarter numbers where the exceptionals have all been provided for, but going forward, considering the huge debt of 55,000 crore plus and majority of that into the foreign currency, the things are really looking very bad, because in the last quarter things have shown slight improvement, maybe on the chorus front, but that is not going to get, one cannot really extrapolate that kind of performance. So yes, things are looking quite negative, and I'm in fact keeping a negative stance, and I won't be surprised to see a surprise of 220 on Tata Steel in next 6 to 8 months.